than ever achieving any of my live streams at the moment. And I think, like a lot of guys that are sort of racing towards one of the big decades, I've had a lot of existential angst in the last couple of years, but instead of having an affair for buying a sports car, I did something a lot more meticulously self-destructive in that I did an arts degree, which might sound like a healthy thing to do, to like leave my job, basically like, kind of like a shit off to the man and go back to uni. But in actual fact, it means I've set myself up for a lifetime of baffled but very polite job rejection letters. And coming back afterwards and going, is the man in? Let's have a quick word with the man. But yeah, university, the best part about university, I'm sure everyone, I'm going to move this out of the way because he's exactly the same height as me and I'm very conscious. I really do like being a professional here at Walks and into Bar. Yeah, it's definitely my favourite comedy night. But yeah, basically, the best part about university is obviously like the friends you make, all the people you meet, and lots of people on the arts course I was on are from as far afield as other countries, and it was amazing. But I noticed that with a lot of my friends, that especially ones that come from completely English as a foreign language nations, that the English they speak is not only clinically perfect, but also very, very American, like kind of like Hal from 2001, like, hello Richard, how are you Richard? Hello Richard, how are you Richard? How was your essay Richard? How was your mark Richard? Are you going to get a first Richard? Except this one guy called Koji, this guy from Japan, and he was like, you alright mate, how you doing? You alright? The day I met him, he's like, you alright, how you doing? My name's Koji, yeah, I'm from Yokohama, Greater Tokyo area, nice to meet you mate, you alright? Come back after Christmas. He's like, have a good Christmas, mate. I bought a little gift for you. Bought a little gift for you. Bought these really nice chopsticks. I said to him one time, why do you talk that way? He'd never even been to London, I'm not joking. And he goes, funny story behind that, right? What it was, my personal tutor, he reckoned he was from Putney, yeah? Well, it turns out afterwards, he was from California the whole time. He was just taking a piss. But the damage was done by then. So, oh, wait. The main reason I went back to university was basically because, obviously, as I said, all the existentialist angst and the working for the man, just remember that a bit. But also the fact that I got shown this photograph about 5 years ago, which absolutely blew my mind. It's of this great uncle that I never knew, a guy called Jack Fox, who ran what was, has been described to me many times by family members, as basically the most successful butcher shop in Wolverhampton in the West Midlands. If you want to put that into perspective, you would put it in even more sublime perspective. He also, I saw this picture of him, and he's there, sat there with his wife Babs, what else would she be called, and in this smoky club, and he's got a bottle of whiskey to himself, and like a thimble-sized glass, who's he kidding, and a big cigar, and his pencil moustache. And you think, wow, like he looks like some kind of gangster or something, but there's no Fred Astaire kind of chic, there's no Cray twins next to him. Next to him, trying to muscle in on the picture, is Roy Castle. So if you want to give that a kind of exact measurements about the kind of showbiz circles this guy moved in. But my great uncle Jack, I saw this picture and I was blown away with it. I was blown away by the fact he had like fox head ivory cufflinks as well. Like he was really going for the whole Fox name, which I think was just amazing. And he died 40 years ago, I never knew him. But basically, I don't come from him, I come from the strain that came from my great granddad Bill, and the only memory I've got as him is when I was a little kid, and basically he used to walk around the house in his pants, because he's a very confused man at that stage, sometimes just his vest, and he would walk around in a way that made the house seem so much bigger than it was a bit terrifying, and he used to say things like, "You should hide your fags when you're in here, Richard, because some people steal them, and not all of them are smokers." Which didn't make sense to me back then. It didn't make sense to me now. That's what I've got to look forward to in the years to come, basically. But another thing I'll leave you with, basically, that it's just some of the fantastic names that my family said that Uncle Jack had, because he was so well known around the, like I said, the West Midlands and also the North Wales. Far afield North Wales used to sell meat and say, "Oh, Richard, your great Uncle Jack was so famous for his butcher shop and his abattoir. He owned his own abattoir, did he ever tell you?" He told me that many times. Yes, he owned his own abattoir. Well, did you know, right, this is the thing, in Wolverhampton, he was known as Meat Boss. That's what he was. He was called the Meat Boss, that's true. And over in Smethwick, they called him the Corned Beef Commodore. That's absolutely right. He's a very popular man. Yeah, that's right. And then basically, over in In Wrexham, they call him Captain Gammon, that's right, yeah. In Powys they called him Admirable Venison, that's right, yeah. And in Telford, they called him Captain Gammon again, I've already said that one. In Smethwick, they call him Viscount Venison. In Solihull, the Corned Beef Commodore. In Wrexham, Corporal Crackling. In Wem, they call him the Sausage Wizard. And in Shrewsbury, Admiral Lamb Chops. And finally, in case you wondered, in Oswestry Street, they called him the Beef Bastard. Just thought of something actually. I think I'll end with this actually. Can I have one more joke? Got one more joke? All right. One more joke. Has anyone here, I just thought of this, anyone here ever been held in suspense or like a sense of intrigue randomly? Show of hands. Yeah? It's not quite the right amount of people for the joke to work. Never mind. Cheers.